Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so glad that you guys are here, and I don't know if I have ever been more excited for a YouTube video before. Seriously. So there are a couple reasons why. First, this is my very first Q&A, so that's cool. I asked you guys over on Instagram to send me any and all questions, real estate, personal life, like whatever, and there's a good mix of questions. I'm super excited to answer them for you. The second reason is this is the first video I'm recording on my new camera. So again, if you guys follow me over on Instagram, you probably already know this, but I decided to invest in a camera outside of my phone, also because like I needed my phone to be able to like read the questions for this video. So anyway, we're just gonna jump right in, shall we? The first question is, what made you move out to Arizona? This is such a good question because it's totally just like part of my story. So my husband and I moved to Arizona in June of 2018. So we're going on 2.5 years of living here. Love it. We moved from Utah. And honestly, like, I am not a winter person. I have lived in northern Utah, and by northern Utah, I mean like 30 minutes from Idaho, northern Utah. I lived there my entire life. I went to high school there, I went to college there, and I just didn't really leave or go experience anything else. And the winters there can be pretty awful. I just don't like the cold. I really don't. So that was a big reason why we wanted to move to Arizona. My husband had lived here before and he really liked it. So we visited and then I just fell in love with it. So there's one big part of it. The other big part is we do have horses, and because the winters in Utah can be really harsh and long, we wanted to be able to really like ride our horses year round, and that's a really big thing here. So that was another reason why. Next question is, what did you do before real estate? So I talked about this in my past video, I think in my most recent video, but I'll go ahead and answer it here again. So before I was in real estate, I was actually a leasing consultant, leasing agent, leasing professional, whatever you want to call it, for a big property management company here in the Valley. I was actually doing that in Utah and then got hired by a different company and moved here to Arizona. So I really, like, I didn't mind it. I had good coworkers and it was very similar to real estate, I think, because I'm still like showing and trying to sell someone on a specific apartment, and I'm writing a lease and helping them get moved in and that kind of thing. So outside of like having to market myself and find my own leads and generate my own business, but that's what I was doing before real estate. How did you get into horseback riding? This is another really fun question I like to answer. I actually posted about this on my Instagram recently. Here is the post if you want to go search my Instagram and find it. I actually didn't start riding horses until I was 20, which, if you are familiar with the horse world, that's not very common. Most people that are in the horse world have been in the horse world their entire life. In 2013, I actually had the chance to go work on a dude ranch, which is like a guest ranch up in Wyoming. I had some friends from high school that did it the summer before, and they helped me get the job. And that's really when I truly fell in love with horses. Then I came home after that summer and just like dove right into it, which is how I do everything. I just dive right into everything. I figure it out as I go. Kind of drives my husband nuts. I'm a planner too, but I just kind of throw caution to the wind and just like jump into stuff. So that dude ranch really sparked my love and my interest for riding horses. So I came home that winter, found my own horse, and then just started riding. So that's kind of the short version of the story. Next question, this one's a real estate question. Hoping to buy in the next 6 months or so, how can I increase my credit score? So I know that there are a lot of people out there that either are working to build their credit, or they maybe didn't make the best decisions or haven't been able to manage their credit very well. So I will be the first to tell you guys, I am not a credit expert. I usually don't give out credit advice because the truth is it's not something I focus on. It's not something I specialize in. So what I usually tell people is there's a lady on Instagram, so it's Color My Credit is her handle. She's a licensed mortgage lender here in Arizona, but also focuses on how to help people build and boost their credit. She drops a ton of knowledge. She's like the equivalent of me, like dropping tons of first-time homebuyer knowledge. She's that for like credit building and boosting. Although I don't personally have any advice to share, that's my like best of the best. Go follow her over on TikTok and Instagram. Next question, favorite go-to Starbucks drink? I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but maybe it changes like seasonally, because right now, so it's October, I would definitely say the pumpkin cream cold brew. It's not that I don't like the pumpkin spice latte, I just prefer the pumpkin cream cold brew. I like to sub the just regular vanilla syrup for sugar-free vanilla syrup because it's less calories, less sugar, and all of that. That's probably my go-to drink right now. Some others that I like to rotate between: iced chai. I love a good iced chai. I just love that like warm tingle. If you drink chai, you know what I'm talking about. I also like the mango dragon fruit refresher. If I want something that's a little bit more light tasting, I really like that one too. The dragon fruit refresher, the iced chai, and the pumpkin cream cold brew are kind of my go-to Starbucks drinks right now. How long did it take to make your first sale? So again, I've talked about this already, but it's such a good question that I will answer it again. It took me 14 months to sell my first house in real estate. So I got licensed at the end of March 2019, didn't sell my first house until end of May 2020. It took me quite a while. There are a couple things that I feel like really influenced that. The first one being that we had just moved to Arizona like 8 months before that. Didn't really know anybody. All of our family and friends are back in Utah, so I was having to like meet people and create this big network from scratch. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I didn't feel like I had the right support system when I first got into real estate because I wanted to do social media and that kind of stuff. So if you want a little bit more deeper dive into that, you can go watch my last video where I talk about my real estate story so far, but it took me 14 months. So if it's taking you a while to get your first sale, don't feel bad. Next question. What's your why, your purpose for your passion? Whew. This is a solid question too. I also, again, kind of talked about this in my last video. So like when I first entered the corporate world right after college, I kind of realized that the corporate world was not for me. I didn't want to punch in, punch out. I knew that I wanted a lot more out of life, a lot more financially out of life. I knew that I couldn't achieve the financial goals that I wanted to if I was an employee and having an employee mindset, making an employee salaries. My why and my purpose has always been to set myself and my family up financially. When we have children in the future, I would like to be able to, you know, have the flexibility to be there for certain things that they want to do, as well as comfortably afford them. I want to be able to travel with my future family because some of my best childhood memories are from when my mom took us to Disneyland and Disney World for the first time. When, before my parents divorced, we went on this like 10-day, like 2-week excursion in our camp trailer. Like those are things that I held very close to me, and I want to be able to create memories like that with our future children, my future children, my husband and I's future children. As well as I just have a lot of dreams out of my life, especially when it comes to horses and traveling and that kind of thing, and none of that is inexpensive. And then as well as I am an Enneagram 2 to the core. So if you haven't taken the Enneagram test, it's a personality exam, personality test, that kind of thing. It's the most insightful personality test I've ever taken. whoa. So Enneagram 2 is labeled the helper. So they find their passion, their purpose, their joy out of life from helping other people, and that could not ring more true to me. That like fills me up so much. So I love being able to give to people. Once I took that Enneagram, it was like, wow, okay, real estate is a good career for me because I get to help people transition from one stage of life into the next, and especially with first-time home buyers, help them realize that homeownership is a lot closer than they think. So I know it varies in circumstance, but how do I know I'm ready to buy or rent a home? Yes, you're right. It does vary based on your circumstance, based on your personal situation, that type of thing. For me and my husband, we decided to buy our house because we were kind of being forced out of our apartment. We weren't being evicted or anything. They were just selling the community to a different management, and I worked for them at the time. Big, long story. We were forced to either go find another rental or look into buying a house. And it just so happened that we were within qualifying range to buy a house, and it was going to be cheaper than rent. It just kind of made sense for us to go that way. I feel like if you're just in general ready for a sense of permanence, maybe if you're, not wanting to move a ton of times or move every year when your lease is up or that kind of thing, if you're ready to settle, not necessarily like settle down, get married, have children, but just ready to settle into one spot, then I feel like, that's kind of an indicator of, okay, maybe I should look into what does it take to actually buy a house. You're right, it's kind of a tough question, but I picked this one because I know there are so many people out there that are like, well, how do I know that it's the right time? And I would say if you're ready for a little bit more permanence, ready to settle a little bit, if you know you're gonna be somewhere for a handful of years. And keep in mind that buying a house does not necessarily mean you're stuck there. There are so many options that you have. You can turn around and sell it if the market is good. If you need to leave, you can also rent it as another way of earning income. So there are a lot of things you can do with a house outside of living in it for what seems like forever. Next question, what dog breeds do you like? Also, big dog or small dog? You already know that I'm a dog person. I have 2 dogs of my own, Jax and Sage. Jax is a German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix. He turned 5 this year. Sage, who is a full Australian Shepherd, and she turned 2 this year. I grew up around labs. We didn't have inside dogs, they were outside dogs. So I love labs. They're like such a good family dog, just tons of fun, and definitely like German Shepherds. So the reason why I got Jax was because I wanted a German Shepherd. I knew that they had like the loyalty, and I'd always admired that breed, but at the time I definitely could not afford a purebred German Shepherd because they're effing expensive. I actually found his litter in a local classified ad, and it was German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd, and he really is such a good mix of the two. I love Australian Shepherds. Honestly, I could probably just have Australian Shepherds for the rest of my life and be totally content with it. Aussies are so smart, they're so loyal, and they're just quirky and they're adorable. I love Australian Shepherds. I follow like Australian Shepherd accounts on Instagram and TikTok. They're not like super huge dogs, but they're not super tiny. Like you could get a full Aussie, which is what Sage is, or you could get a mini Aussie, which is a little bit smaller, or a toy Aussie, which is even smaller. Plus they make really good like herding dogs. They're really good around like livestock and horses and that kind of thing, which is a part of our life as well. And hopefully by showing, those 3 breeds, I'm definitely a big dog person for sure. Any advice for real estate investing, fix and flip, rental properties, etc.? So I will be honest with you guys, I don't focus on investor clients. It's something that I have a personal interest in. Like I would love to be able to fix and flip a house, as well as my husband and I have goals to have rental properties of our own. So it's something I'm interested in myself. I just haven't done it yet. But my best advice would definitely be to do your research. You don't want to end up in an investment that loses you money. Like you don't want to buy a home in a neighborhood that's not going to appreciate the way you want it to. Have to take all of these things into consideration. Like you don't want to buy a house with the intention to flip it and then end up owing money on it? What's trending? What like renovation should I even make on the house? And with rental properties, like you want to make sure that you can charge a rent amount that is equal to or more than your mortgage payment. That way you're not having to pay out of your own pocket each month. Definitely do your research, as well as find a real estate agent that maybe focuses in investments. There are so many different niches and like specializations in real estate. You have luxury, vacation, rentals, you know, investments, and all of these things. So my focus is on first-time home buyers and sellers, so not on investments. So honestly, if you came to me and you were like, hey, I want to buy, you know, an investment property, I might tell you, you know what, I'm not the best person for this job. Here's another agent that has a little bit more experience in investments. Okay, this question is so random. I like laughed out loud when I saw it. If you could be a power tool, what would you be and why? Like, I've never gotten that question before. I've never even heard that question before. What a random question, but it's so funny that I feel like I have to answer it. And here's the kicker, I don't even know that many power tools. I don't do construction or anything, so honestly, I don't even have an answer. Like, honestly, the only power tool I can think of is like a drill, or like a nail gun maybe, or a saw. Maybe a nail gun, because I like to put stuff together. I don't know. I totally overhyped that question because it was such a good question, but I didn't have an answer for you. So that's my bad. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you aren't already, please make sure to be subscribed. Make sure to go follow me over on Instagram so you can drop a question the next time I do a Q&A. If you have any suggestions on videos you want to see, feel free to leave them in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.